Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Freedom March. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, channel 224, channel that's on cable, channel 112 that's on Flow, and of course on ILTV Studios over on Facebook. But wherever you are listening to us, thank you so much for listening to us. I got some shout outs I want to send early to my friends over at Island Connect. I hear you all are having a birthday party over there today. Today is Ali's birthday, so happy birthday. To my friends over at Island Connect. And then, of course, to my friends over at the Kingsman Collection. I don't know, if you're not one of the Kingsmen, then who are you? Please go and see my friends at the Kingsman Collection and tell them Levan sent you. I guarantee they'll take good care of you. And so I wanted to get those two shout-outs out of the way. I also want to get something else out of the way. Yesterday, sometimes I speak quickly, and sometimes my brain knows the information, but I guess the information comes out of my brain a little slower than it gets to my mouth. And what I said yesterday was that Veronica Owens beat Leslie Miller, and that is in fact not correct. That is impossible because Veronica Owens would be a PLP candidate. I thought about it as soon as I got to the car yesterday. And if my memory is correct, because I'm still trying to track down the exact records, Leslie Miller sat in the House of Assembly 87 to 92. I think he missed the 92 window. Somebody out there that knows the facts can help me. But I do remember that in 2007, he was beat. He lost that election, and that would have been to Sidney Colley. He came back in 2012. He was chairman of BEC, and then he lost the election of 2017. I'm just trying to help Michael Abana Ellis craft talking points whenever she need to talk slack talk in politics. So what is coincidental is at the time he would have lost, or he lost, because y'all shouldn't say would have when something actually happens. Y'all peeve me with that a little bit. So you can't say I would have received a call if you actually received the call. So you just received the call. So he lost to Dawn Sanders, the late, who at the time was 42 years old. And so the next time Leslie Miller have anything to say to you, Michael, all you have to say is, boy, you used to cheering, beating you because the little boy beat you. And that would be the election where little boys took down the whole cadre of senior man, right? Lil Dawn Sanders take down Leslie. Lil Travis take down BJ. And who could forget that Reese Chipman, a little boy in politics to the juggernaut, and former Prime Minister Perry Gladstone Christie took him down after 42 years. And that is how you fight war in politics. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, channel 224, that's cable. Channel 112, that's Flow, and ILTV Studios on Facebook. As often, I'm here in studio with Bradley Rule, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary spiritual advisor, I'm told, for the whole Bahamas.
Oh, that gets me in trouble.
Bradley Rule, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Good to be here.
How was your Tuesday?
Not too bad, but
Yeah?
a bit hot around. But it got to like midday, 1 o'clock. Oh man, we're
Yeah.
still in the summer.
We're almost past it.
I hope we
almost
can hurry up get through this, man.
We're
This
almost
is just
past it.
too much heat, too much heat.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So tell us, as often as we see you, we know that if Bradley is in studio with us, then Holy Scripture must also be in studio with us. And so Bradley, you see that I had to retract my statement yesterday. You know when you know things and you just don't remember the thing you know? That doesn't happen to you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I know the thing, I just don't remember the thing I know. And so I had to make sure that I come back, because these people take these things very seriously, but I also want them to see that Freedom March is the kind of platform that I don't run slackly. And if I make a statement and I find out that my statement is false, you ain't gotta sue me, I can just come back and retract it. You see that?
And which is good. Is
That's
being
how
honest.
that's accountability. Right?
Alright.
So if Veronica Owens did not beat Leslie Miller, that would be impossible because they was playing for the same team. All right. Now I recall, I think Dion Folks beat him at one time. I think that's who beat him once. And then I think Sidney Colley beat him one time. Because I remember Leslie Miller won 87. I was 3. He won 2002. That's when he was the Minister of Industry, right? And then, the PLP took a shellacking in 2000 and, was that a shellacking in 2007? No, that one wasn't a shellacking, was it?
No.
Which one of those did he take a shellacking in?
Was it 92?
No, the PLP took a shellacking in 97. 97,
Honestly, I can't remember.
97 was almost a clean sweep. You remember? I'll never forget it because Hubert Ingham say, check the record. The PLP say they standing. The PLP standing because the FNM ain't leave them with nowhere to sit. And the people on Market Street gone crazy, right? That's when the song was, better, better, gonna get better. You remember this? Better now and better to come when the FNM went too straight. And then the PLP picked that awfully tragic theme, Stand. I decided to take a stand. You remember that? They almost killed Penland with Beating that year, right? And then, of course, the birth of Perry Christie happened. I don't know. Mr. Ingram decided that he would let Tommy T and Dion Folks lead the party. I tell you, he doesn't do very good at picking succession leaders. So he picked Tommy T and Dion Folks, and apparently them two couldn't lead the FNM out of a wet 1 pound brown paper bag. They lead them straight down the path of destruction. And I think the FNM was left with about 6 or 7 seats at that time.
Yeah, I remember
They asked Mr. Ingram if he'd come back to lead. Ingram said, lead them where? It's 7 of them. Where they going? And so, he was the member of parliament for North Abaco. And I think he would just come in to make sure that he was on the record of the House of Assembly. And then, of course, Christie had the cabinet issues, the fellas beating up one another and all kinds of things, and people saying Christie couldn't control the cabinet. And then I'll never forget, Mr. Ingram came back like a rock star in 2007. That was when the people from Western Air was flying him around, and they paint all the plane them red, white, and blue. You remember this? And Mr. Ingram would jump off the plane, and you couldn't tell me that was an Air Force One.
He was seriously into politics.
When Ingram jumped off the plane in Inagua.
He was deep into politics.
And that was where I actually learned to have respect for Mr. Ingram. I was a Marine seaman in Inagua during the election cycle, and I'll never forget, Ingram came down there to do the rally in Inagua, and Ingram was asleep in the back of the stage. I'll never forget this. And they announced, now we'll call for our leader. Ding, ding. Dun, dun. They played a little song from Tina Turner. I call him when I need him, set my soul on fire. Mr. Ingram got up out of his sleep, walked to the stage, and said, FNMs, color red is on the move. And the place electrified. This man was just sleeping 2 minutes ago. So he get up, he say, Christie done playing this game of fall ain't going around, I was in Grand Bahama on Monday. I went down to Exima, and now I'm here in Inagua. And I trust they could be here next, but Perry ain't never beat me at nothing. And of course, Mr. Ingham come back, gave the PLP quite a shellacking. And then, so the point I'm making is, it's kind of difficult for me to track Leslie Miller's victories because he appeared to be uppy and downy, to what people would say, inny and outy. I don't remember there ever being like him having a foothold, we would say, in politics. He ain't no BJ and Kennedy, that kind of way, And it's funny because, we're going to get to the scripture right now, but I'm just retracting the statement. The thing I don't understand is, how do you become a juggernaut in politics if you can't win? You got to win like 4 times consecutively to be a juggernaut, eh? And that's you with minutes. Anyway, let's go to Holy Scripture. So have I adequately retracted the statement?
Your soul is deep into politics. Oh, man.
All right, let's go to the Holy Scripture. What does the Holy Scripture?
Try to balance it a bit. I remember growing up as a young boy in Camp Road. And I used to always hear my mom, when people bidding her farewell, I remember very clearly. They would say, all right, Miss Minnie, we'll see you tomorrow. And then she would respond, by God's power, I'll see you. But I never really understood what that meant. I don't know what, being a young boy, what do you mean by God's power? But actually, I guess it means by God's will, or if he permits, then we'll see each other more. And so this passage here in James chapter 4, 13 to 17, it's a sober reminder to all of us, right? James says, he's reminding the Christians, he says, now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow, we'll go into this city or that city, spend a year there, carry on business, and make money. Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow? What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. Go ahead, producer. If it's the Lord's will, you'll do this or do that. As it is, you boast in your arrogant schemes. All such boasting is evil. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is a sin for them. James chapter 4. Flip back a second for me, producer. Let's wrap this up quickly. Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. And I guess that's the mystery of life, eh? You don't know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? He compares your life to a mist. So if you pick up a spray and you spray it, you see the mist coming from the can, you see it for a short while, and then it goes. And the Apostle James here is comparing your life to that. He says, why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we will live and do this or do that. I think it's a sober reminder for all of us. James chapter 4, 13 to 17, I read from the NIV, boasting about tomorrow. Don't boast, my friend. We don't know.
Yeah. You know what is interesting, spiritual advisor, as I think about that? You learn languages, right? And I always tell people one of the difficulties with being an English speaker when you try to learn other languages is many languages do not worry about constructing sentences, or many languages actually the conversion of the language is more of a phrase than it is the actual statement. Let me clear that up for you. So it is not uncommon if you say something to a Haitian for them to respond, demain si je vle.
That means tomorrow.
If God wants. Okay. Demain is tomorrow. Si je vle is if God wants. And isn't it interesting that a country plagued with Oberism and voodooism and all kind of other isms, there are a group of people, 10 million of them almost, that have added colloquially to their language their recognition of their powerlessness for tomorrow. Almost any Haitian anywhere in the world, go anywhere in the world and say something to a Haitian, and they will respond almost every single time. De message tomorrow if God wants.
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, and I don't know how they started that. I mean, I'm not really sure where that came from or why is it a part of their normal jargon, but it is quite common. I can't think of another Haitian Creole response that is more popular than that one when you talk about the future with Haitian people.
So then it would mean that when I was growing up, our English version of that was what my mother was using.
Yes.
By God's power.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Which means it's in God's hands.
Yeah, if it's the Lord's will.
If it's the Lord's will, then it
Yeah.
will happen. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and it's interesting. It's interesting because if you learn Creole and they tell you, oh, tomorrow is the message Jevle, that isn't incorrect. That is actually correct. That is tomorrow. But it isn't just the response tomorrow. It is the response with the caveat, if God wants.
So,
Yeah?
who say I see? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like Rodney said, they'll be with us until Jesus come, eh?
Yeah, but Peter Bunje say Haitian. You never know. You never know.
Indeed.
Right? And so, we must learn these things because these are things to learn. And it's interesting that the more you learn, the more you know how much you don't know.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's
And
deep.
I
Interesting.
try as often as possible to know as many things as that I can. That way I realize my inferiority, right? Because the thing that helps me to realize how finite I am is by understanding how infinite information is. And you never run out of it. You never run out of it. Every single day that you wake up, there is new information. Now, I will admit, you have to run some of this information through a filter. But the only thing everybody seems interested in putting a filter on these days is the face God give them, right? I don't know what they can do in 80 years when none of their pictures actually look like them. All of their pictures. You know how everybody takes a picture now and they look like Bambi? Everybody have these facial filters. But I'm saying with information, you run it through a filter. But never be afraid to introduce information to your mind because the more you know, the better you are. But the more you know how much you do not know. And that is always a wonderful place to be as a human because it always leaves room for you to grow. Yeah? And I tell people this all the time. Ignorance is not a bad word. It's not a curse word.
No, it's just mean
Every
you're uninformed.
human being, all 8.42 billion of us, are ignorant.
I'm ignorant.
To something.
When I step on a Boeing 737 and I look in the cockpit,
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
Precisely. And
So I'm ignorant
And at any point,
about how
you
to fly a
are
plane.
no longer ignorant. Do you know what you are?
Informed.
Omniscient. No, at any point, ignorance vacates your person. Where you could say, I'm not ignorant. That must mean that you are omniscient. And if you are in fact omniscient, then you'd have to tell me which heaven you own because that would make you a god. Because to be all-knowing
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
is the trait of a god, not the trait of a human. So accept ignorance. I feel like I talking to a wife driving home in the car today with her husband. Wherever you are, lift your hands. I tell you, my Church of God is flare up in me. I feel like I talking to you. Accept that there are some things that you are just ignorant about.
And one of those things could be to the wife that you probably don't know or they didn't tell you
Yeah.
that when you decided to enter that marriage contract,
Wow.
your body no longer
Wow.
belongs to you.
Wow. Look at how SA could get me right in trouble
It
with these punching every woman.
belongs to your husband.
This is something special.
Some of you women are ignorant of that.
Wow.
But it's a fact that when you enter the marriage covenant, your body no longer belongs to you. It's your husband's. And so you are under obligation to have sex with that man.
By the
Make no
Christian
mistake about that.
definition of marriage. And so if we use the Christian definition of marriage, I've argued before, and the same with the show about, but we so happy to show live that even when I come here with show notes, we get to run a live show. By the Christian definition of marriage, if you say to me that you want a Christian marriage, then yes.
Let's use the term
Judeo-Christian? Fine. Then yes. And I have argued that in our very Christian, Judeo-Christian society, because remember now, we see, and this is why I'm so happy that these things are all interconnected, because yesterday what did we talk about? Social normalities.
Right.
In our social normality, we understand marriage to be Christian. And so I say to the Christian Council, I've said to my good friend, Bishop Denzel Roll, you know him, he's the superintendent of the Highway Churches of God. I've said to people like my mentor and good friend, Bishop Delton Fernanda, president of the Christian Council, that at some point, the Christian church has to decide whether or not it wants to take a position for its members and go to the government and say, we want marriage in the Bahamas by the definition of the Judeo-Christian
persuasion
definition, and then just let the sinners have whatever they want. And so the sinners get to have we could call it a getting together certificate, not a marriage license. So if you are not Christian,
but the law of the
you could, yes, man, slavery was the law. We can make anything the law. So you just have you all don't get to have a marriage certificate because marriage is interpreted in the law of the Bahamas under its Christian definition. And we could have a let's get together certificate where you and the person you just get together with go to, I don't know, a beach with, I don't know, a let's get together officer, because you don't have to be a marriage officer, and you all two get together and you have your document, and now you have all the legal protection that you desire under the law. And if you withhold the sex under the let's get together contract, then you have every right to do so because your getting together is not subjected to Christian marriage principles.
Okay.
This is what I've told my good friends who are bishops. They're bishops. That means they must be very knowledgeable because that's what the Bible says. And if a man desires the office of a bishop, let him not be a novice.
Yeah, you cannot be a beginner. You got to be a seasoned fellow.
So they seasoned. And I told my very seasoned friends that this is the way that the church could get out of this bunch of rowing with these bunch of sinful people who won't keep sex from their husband. Because if you try to convince these bunch of intellectual people, they're going to continue to castigate the church. And the Bible admonishes us to not let our good be evenly spoken about, eh? All right, that's the jingle. We go into the break. Don't move. I got show on the next side of the break when we return on Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us for the break. I'm Levan Miller. Bradley Rowell, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, is with me. But we're also joined in the studio by Toby Smith. Now, I'm not sure what to refer to him as because every single time I see Toby, Toby is taking on another big fight somewhere with another big group of people who have enormous resources. But I'm always very fascinated by his desire to fight some of these things that ordinarily people may not even be aware of. So many of you know that if you drive west along what we know to be the airport road, I like to colloquially call it because Bahamians don't know the name of no road. So if you go along the airport road, you know the flamingo, the big tall flamingo, who at one point I allege was tip and toe. I'm not really sure what was wrong with him. Well, I see the flamingo has changed his colors, and I see Toby Smith has taken a bit of umbrage with it, right? And he doesn't feel, I guess, that he was consulted, especially since the flamingo only exists because of Toby Smith. And so I've invited him to Freedom March because I want to talk about that so that people are aware of where did the flamingo come from. Because I know the name of the man that did the chicken. I think it's Mr. Burroughs. And we ain't really sure why we end up with a chicken. So we have a chicken and a flamingo, and we now have the person that created the flamingo here to tell us about why is it such an issue that Bahama, a major conglomerate in this country, has decided that they just want to change the way the flamingo look. So Toby, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. I appreciate being here. It's the first time on this show
Producer.
with you, so congratulations. I'd like to pay respects to the late Mr. Rodney Monka, and I'm happy that Spiritual Advisor is here also, so thank you very much for having me today.
Well, good that you could come. I'm very happy
you.
that you could come. I remember that we met several times when you took on the Lighthouse fight.
Right.
How did that? How is that? I know that you've had some pioneering, groundbreaking, precedent-setting victories.
Yeah, victories in my mind. I'm not sure of victories on paper. So the latest on the Lighthouse is that I continue my fight. I'm in my 14th year of fighting against two Goliaths. One is the government of the Bahamas, which at any point could concede and say, yes, there wasn't an agreement for release. We are going to
They have
honor
already
it.
said that. They said that through Dionisio Diagla as the then Minister of Tourism.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Dionisio confirmed it on live TV, downstairs Eyewitness News, that yes, they did give me, minister did authorize, it was a cabinet approved, cabinet conclusion embarked lease, and the then Attorney General Carl Bethel told me that my lease wasn't worth the piece of paper it was written on, so warning to all international investors dealing with government, if they give you a lease, can't be trusted. Unless you're, of course, Bahamian, then you get double, can't be honoured. And so I took government to court back in 2020, and I'm still going through the court process. I lost at the Supreme Court under Justice Ian Winder, not ruling in my favour. I then took it to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal had 3 justices on the bench. Sir Michael Barnett ruled in my favour in dissent of the other 2 judges, but it takes a majority ruling. So I'm taking the ruling of Sir Michael Barnett, thank you Sir Michael for your ruling, to the Privy Council. I applied to the Court of Appeal for my matter to take leave to the Privy Council in London, and they gave me a certificate of final leave so that I can take it, and I filed the documents with the Privy Council in London, so I'm just waiting for the case to come up there.
When exactly are you anticipating that?
I'm anticipating that I'm going to win, that they're going to say, yeah, with Sir Michael Barnett's 34 pages of justification to say exactly why I have a lease, that the Privy Council is going to say it's a no-brainer, and they're going to honour my lease. And that's the end of it. I'll bring it back to government with the expectation of ordering specific performance, which in layman's terms means that the government should just say, let's get on with it, and kumbaya, and let's get this development going and get Bahamians to work, and give Bahamians an opportunity in our own country instead of just giving it to the likes of Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines who are over there raising our crown land, and let Bahamians reflect on an international stage that when the politicians take their foot off of our neck, that we can do great things for our own country.
Well, I'm going to wish you great success with that.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
I'm almost exhausted, and that was only like 3 minutes of you explaining it to me. I just try to get people to understand the amount of maneuvers that has to go into something of that magnitude, when you talk about having a case heard at the Privy Council level, what does it even take to get to the Privy Council? That in itself is exhausting. And I mean, for that alone, it shows, one, that you believe in whatever your fight is.
Thank you, I do.
And that you are prepared to actually go all the way to what the old people would call, you prepared to go to the letter, if that's what it takes.
And that this isn't a fight that I'm leading for the personal gain of Toby. This is a fight that I am leading to illustrate to Bahamians to stand up to oppressive forces, to stand up against Goliaths such as the government, such as Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, or whoever it is, that if you feel as though you're being depressed and justice is not being served to Bahamians, that the power of the fight will win. And if more Bahamians were to stand up and understand that it only takes a few of us to stand up, and the more the merrier, the more people that want to stand up, protest, march, do whatever it is to bring about change, I encourage all Bahamians to not rely upon others and be lethargic or procrastinate, but to stand alongside of other people that you believe in, no matter if it's a white person, a black person. All of us are Bahamians, and all of us should fight for the common good for future generations and for our own good.
Now, you talked about at least two different administrations. You talked about the Minister administration, that's 2017, but we've had a new administration in place for the last 4 years. As of next week, have you at least had conversations with the new administration?
Yeah, I've had several meetings with the Philip Davis administration. Unfortunately, they haven't gone to plan. My last physical meeting was between Chester Cooper, Philip Davis, and Ryan Pinder. And Chester Cooper told me prior to that meeting to bring proof of financing. My project originally started when I applied in 2012 for a $2 million project. I bumped that up by 50% to $3 million investment, and that was just the initial investment. There's no reason why we can't put tens of millions of dollars into the project. And while Chester Cooper told me to come with proof of financing for a $3 million project, I came for proof of financing for $7 million in writing from respectable, one was a financial institution, another one was a family office, and also my own personal contribution. And rather than it being that the Chester Cooper specific that come with proof of financing, they still weren't entertaining that. And that was the episode where Philip Davis told me to reapply, which was a rookie move on the part of the Prime Minister by telling me to reapply, which is just a red herring to put me in the back of the line so one of their cronies could get in. And
well, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing though. So let's just say you did have proof of the $7 million. I suspect that at the end of this all, there will be some damages that you will claim.
There's exemplary and specific damages that could be claimed also.
And I mean, I imagine that amount in itself should be somewhere in the area of what it is that you have exacted, you intend to have invested, because I'm sure there is the expense of going to trial, there's the expense of going to appeal, there's the expense of going to the court, to the Privy Council, there's the emotional damage, you know, you may have lost some hair and all. What's the price of that?
Maybe. Lucky I'm still blonde.
Right, so I'm saying, I mean, to verify the amount of, financing that you may be able to be backed on the project itself, you'd have to, there's so many, I don't see what's the need for that, because there's so many other factors to consider. Like, I might decide to sue you all for $12 million, and then I don't need to tell you all where I'm getting money from, because it'll be coming out of the public treasury.
So there's actually nothing within the contract. There's no contractual obligation whatsoever, nor within the lease, for me to prove any proof of financing.
No, I get that.
At the stage of proof of financing, that was when it was before AMMC and the National Museum of the Bahamas, where they required me when Mr. Chipman was an MP and in charge of AMMC, it was that I had to show proof of financing then, which I did. They were satisfied with it, and that's why they offered me the lease and I accepted it.
Right.
The issue that I have is that Royal Caribbean are then, they try to take the land that was contained within my lease, and I've actually backed them up from my boundary. So they haven't, initially they were trying to stampede over the land that's contained within my lease. I pushed them back, which was a victory for me. But more importantly is that Royal Caribbean are over there destroying Paradise Island, competing with downtown, competing with Bahamians, citing that they're hiring Bahamians, but when you look at the companies that they are using, they're employing non-Bahamians, and then there's still not a deal between Royal Caribbean and the government of the Bahamas or the people of the Bahamas to know what it is that is being given up and what we're losing out on.
So, okay, so the reason I asked for that backstory is because now I see you taking on a fight with Bahama.
Oh, hold on.
Well, when I say
don't start nothing, ain't gonna be nothing.
No, when I say taking on a fight, I mean...
I know what you mean. I'm putting it
okay, so the story on the Flamingo is, wasn't this something that was commissioned by the hotel?
Yes.
Okay, so if you all have a working relationship, why the fight?
You tell me.
And that was the thing that I couldn't understand. Like, if Bahama reached out to Toby to commission the Flamingo, and Toby did the Flamingo,
delivered, signed, sealed, delivered,
then what's the purpose of? What exactly is the purpose of in the public spot?
Okay, so the public spot is that Bahama noticed what I was doing, which was resurrecting the great work that the late Steve Burrows did in sculpting various sculptures in the Bahamas.
Sure. Before you get to that, why so many... So now, there was a time when I thought they were all government funded. I later learned that they weren't. Like the Rooster isn't government funded. It's actually a private artist, Mr. Burrows, right? I later learned that all of these, the Lobster was the work of Mr. Burrows, right? Yeah. Because originally I had a difficulty with why are we continuously picking so many things that aren't human beings, right? Like there's so many human beings to memorialize and so many contributions by so many groups of people that we could memorialize, etc., etc.
Sure.
Like why did we keep picking all of these animals, right?
Yeah.
Then I learned, well, they're the works of private artists who have put these depictions up for the purpose of nationalization, etc., whatever. So then I learned that Bahama had actually commissioned the construction of the Flamingo.
Right, where they commissioned me to do that.
Sure.
Okay. In respect to the late Steve Burrows, please bear in mind that Steve built Pompey down in Great Exuma.
Okay.
For the Pompey village, the whole story behind the settlement of the slave that revolted against their masters down in Exuma. And Steve built a very strong physique depiction of a slave down in Exuma, and fortunately that sculpture of his is being maintained. When you land in Great Abaco, for instance, at the roundabout by the airport, there's the Bahama parrot. So all of them have a link to the Bahamas.
Sure.
The exception that could be argued in that regard is the fact of the Rooster. And when I went out there with Steve, when I started restoring the Rooster, Steve said, look at he standing up biggity just like me. Maybe that's where where his motivation was. But Steve, as a private individual and being a dedicated Bahamian, in doing this, he wasn't looking for public recognition. Sure. He wasn't looking for status or finance.
If you build a 13-foot chicken, someone will recognize it.
Yeah, they were, but he wasn't doing it to say, look at me, because he was actually working behind the scenes quietly. And big respect to Steve, man. I love that man. I look up to him. I consider him as him being a mentor to me, and I wanted to dignify his work. That if I wasn't to step up to the plate when they did the road improvement project from along JFK where the Chinese built the new road out to the airport, they picked up the conch shell, they picked up the white crown pigeon that used to be at the end of Blake Road. The conch shell used to be what's now the Shell gas station on that little triangle before it became a roundabout. They picked that up and they dumped it in the back of Ministry of Works, which I thought was not right. And me driving past it, and one day it was gone. So I went looking for it. And I found it dumped in the Ministry of Works. So I wrote to the then Minister of Works, who's now PM Davis, and said, would you mind if I take it out of the dump where you dumped it and restore it and bring it back and put it out on public view? And they said, all right, no problem. We're building all these new corridors and whatnot. You can put it out on these roundabouts. So I worked with Steve, and I got video out there the day that I put the conch shell out there after I finished restoring it. I sat in the car with Steve and my daughter, and he marveled at it. And one day I'll publish a video of the whole Steve Burrows journey. The Lobster used to be at the end of the bottom of the old bridge. Then it got moved to the land reclamation site just by the Out Trader building, just to the east of the old bridge. And then that got picked up and disappeared.
Sure.
When I spoke with Steve to say, Steve, how about if we involve the students at BTVI to be involved in the restoration of your sculptures now? He thought that was a good idea, so I went to BTVI and I went to the welding shop. I spoke with the manager of the welding shop who teaches the students to say, can we involve the students to work with me and Steve? I'll pay them. If they're up to par, Steve can sign off on a certificate that you get it from the legendary Steve Burrows that you could run a bead of weld, that you could grind, fabricate, etc. And they said, all right, sounds good. I said, I'm going on vacation for the next 2 weeks. And when I come back, I'd like to start the resurrection of the lobster. And when I came back, I went there and they sold it for scrap metal.
Okay, so now that we know the whole backstory.
That's the backstory. So then,
what is the challenge? Because the flamingo was faded. I remember thinking to myself about a month ago that, boy, someone's got to do something with this flamingo.
So last November, I thought the same. So I've been watching. So I call him Ringo the Flamingo. That was the name that I christened with him. I built him in my driveway. It took about 6 weeks to build. Baha Ma commissioned me. They said, look, we see you've been doing Steve Burrows sculptures. We'd like you, because we're going to have control of this roundabout out here. We'd like you to do a sculpture. What would you like to do it of? I said, name whatever you'd like. They said, how about a flamingo? I went down to Botanical Gardens. I took photographs of the flamingos. I said, pick one. They picked one, number 107. And I said, how big do you want it? They said, how about 15 feet? I said, no problem. I built them a 15-foot flamingo in in 6 weeks and put it out there.
That's a big bird.
Yeah, it's a big bird. So that was 10 years ago now.
Sure.
And then 2017, 8 years ago. So then they said, no, sorry, it was 10 years ago. Then I put it out there and they said that they were going to maintain the roundabout. They were going to provide uplighting. They were going to look after make sure the landscaping was good. And they didn't. It looked run down. So last November, I reached out to Baha Ma and said to the president of Baha Ma, Ringo's looking like he could use a paint job.
All right.
The roundabout looks
I think
shabby.
everybody felt that way about it.
Yeah, and I agree with
I literally just, the reason I called you today is because I remember thinking to myself, oh wow, they actually painted the flamingo.
Yeah, yeah.
But and then I saw, that Toby had taken a bit of offense with, and I'm just trying to figure out, it's their flamingo.
Okay, so there's a certain respect and etiquette that is observed within the art world. I don't consider myself as being having a PhD in art or whatever, but there's contractual and there's moral, right? Right. So if you're going to commission someone to do a piece of artwork for you, and the fact that I approached them last November to Graham Davis as the president of Baha Ma to say it looks shabby, he says, "Are you offering to restore it?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Fine. Work with John Cox from our art department in restoring Ringo. We'd love for you to do it." I said, "Cool, let's get it done." I reached out to John Cox, and since November up until middle of July, there was humming and hawing, slunking, no progress. So I said in the middle of July, I said, either I'm going to do it, right, with you, and if you don't decide by the end of July, then I'm going to take it on a different avenue and I'll do it myself.
Sure, but okay, so I create as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you have to accept as a creative is sometimes as a creative, I create things for clients and I watch them completely destroy it. And literally my contractual agreement says that once I hand it over and you sign off that you're happy with the art that I've created, it's your art. And whatever you do.
Are we going to have a foreign nation, a foreign-owned company, a foreign-owned Chinese corporation in the Bahamas with a national symbol that's being painted and depicted as a national symbol, as a flamingo, dictate to Bahamians that we are now going to sway your culture away from being your national bird into something that's going to be abstract art and scrub off the signature of the original creator who's already approached you to do it for free.
Right.
And we're going to come in, even though from November last year, they busy, but he watches on Facebook me going on vacation, and then all of a sudden they got time and the resources to do it, to scrub over my work.
The question I have though is the fight with should you not be approaching Antiquities and Monuments about this?
No, but you know what I just went through with the lighthouse?
No,
there's a bunch of slonkers. Open the gates.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to you is, I'm not sure your fight is with the owners of the Flamingo.
Okay, so let's go back to that. As far as Baha Mar is concerned, they are saying that they have control of that roundabout.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. That's our roundabout. That through a PPP,
did we allow them to adopt it? Did we allow them to adopt the roundabout?
We, not me.
No, whatever the agreement is.
Yeah,
so they have responsibility of the roundabout. It's their 14-foot
So for the last 10 years, they've had responsibility of the roundabout, and the roundabout they've let overgrow. The ones in front of their hotel, they're making sure they got pretty flowers on. They're spending thousands of dollars on that.
But those also don't have 14-foot flamingos on it.
It don't matter. It got a 14-foot flamingo. They should be even more, given that that's a national bird, to invest in it and make sure it looks good. But they got crap landscaping around
means that someone should go there and cut the grass for them as well, or be offended if they don't cut the grass. All I'm saying is,
they ain't cutting the grass.
I hear you.
They ain't cutting the mustard.
I'm saying to you though, like, is your fight with the right group of people? I'm not sure if you could fight the owner for the thing he owns because he mistreats it.
What color's your car?
Gray.
I don't like gray, all right? I'm going to come by and paint it blue because I think your car should be blue.
No. That's an entirely different argument, Toby. And so when I saw your argument, right, I said, you know, I know Toby is a guy that is pretty brass knuckle. I know that he's taken on some really big fights. But the problem the thing I couldn't understand was it was a commissioned piece of art that was commissioned by someone that had the power to commission. An artist did the depiction. Unlike Mr. Burroughs, who was just going around building 14-foot roosters, Toby built a commissioned flamingo. Let me tell you something. My first car was a chameleon-painted Nissan Sentra. I loved it so much. All the girls loved it. It was the best thing I'd ever had.
I bet.
It was a 2-door with racing engine, a racing clutch, and a power exhaust.
Yes.
Loved the car.
Yes.
Sold it to some guy who just didn't love it as much as me. I saw my car 2 years later, Toby. I wanted to buy my car back. He had a dummy tire on the back. He had taken off the aluminum alloyed rims that I had actually searched for. And I'm just wondering, like, sometimes you have to understand that if you give it to the owner, you have to let it go.
Okay, so if you were to tell 100 of your friends that story about your car, and your 100 friends were to tell you, Mr. Miller, you should just let that go. Let that dead man, let that go, right? Or if your friends were to tell you, yeah, man, your car was styling. They should have kept it like that, right?
My friends did tell me that. Some of my friends tell me,
so Baha Mar got all kind of Bahamian flags around there, right? What happens with the Bahamian flags that are sitting out there look ratty? Right, look old. They've been flapping in the wind by the ocean. They look ratty.
No,
and you go to them and you tell them, man, I think you should put up some new Bahamian flags up there because you're waving something that look ratty. And they say, this is our flags. This is our property. We should be waving Bahamian flags the way that we want them to. And you don't have the power because we bought those flags.
No, but the argument there is different again, Toby.
I disagree with you, and I'm arguing with you.
But because,
if there's 300 people on Facebook that are commenting and 3 people are just haters, but if there's 300 people on Facebook that are commenting to say that what Baha Mar have done is wrong, and they wrong in the artistic community, and the government are talking about the orange economy and all these things that there should be creatives being respected, because Brave asking Michael Pintard what he is due. And Michael Pintard is defending that he's a creative and he shouldn't be knocking creatives the same way that Leslie Minner is knocking women. I think that Bahamians, if they push back, shouldn't be belittled by others to say that.
I'm not belittling.
To say that
contractually, though, is how do we get to a point, right, where there is some synergy or some harmony here? Do I hear your argument? I absolutely do.
So can I answer that?
Yeah. Where is the synergy? Because Baha Mar owns the flamingo. The
synergy is that John Cox knows better. The synergy is that Graham Davis knows better. The synergy is that Robert Sands just finished trying to explain his way out of why there's not more Bahamian musicians performing at Baha Mar, and the Bahamian Musician and Artists Union is upset with it. The synergy is that I reached out as being the bigger man to Robert Sands at Baha Mar week before last, and I said I'll even go back there and I'll paint it for free and take care of the roundabout.
Agreed. But Toby.
And they said, we're just going to leave it the way that it is.
Right, but if they no, it's their roundabout. And here's the thing. They couldn't have granted the roundabout to themselves. Mm-hmm. Someone had to do that. Mm-hmm. That person has to be empowered by the state. Mm-hmm. Your argument then cannot be with this institution. It has to be with whoever granted this roundabout by state power.
The government.
Right. And whether it is a government authority, whether it is a government board, whether it is a government ministry,
no problem.
I'm saying I don't know if this uphill fight should be against the organization who, for all intents and purposes, owns the thing. If they've been granted the roundabout, if they've commissioned it's their flamingo.
Okay, so what I have to say to that is that I am publicly and formally requesting Michael Bonnaby, who is in charge, the minister responsible for parks and beaches,
the chairman,
is the chairman, which includes roundabouts, to ask Bahama, given their actions, to tell them to cease and desist and to take back the roundabout because they haven't acted in good faith for the last 10 years in maintaining the roundabout nor the sculpture that was placed on the roundabout. As public, I'm putting it on record right now on your show exclusively that I'm calling upon the chairman of Parks and Beaches to go about the proper way for this and tell Bahama step on the side because they've neglected their obligation to look after our roundabout for the last 10 years, and I'll still go back out there and put nice landscaping, touch it up on the flamingo, totally restore it back to how it was, and we'll just carry on as Bahamians.
All right, we got to go to a break. That's the jingle. It's Freedom March. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM, channel 224, that's on cable, channel 112, that's on Flow, and of course on ILTV Studios. Let's go to the ad, producer. It's a September to remember at Cornet, Bahamas. Get 30% off all windows and doors all month long. Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. We carry hurricane impact sliding and impact casement windows, PVC windows, as well as casement doors, sliding doors, and PVC doors. If you're upgrading for style or preparing for hurricane season, take advantage of our biggest savings of the seasons only at Cornet. Bahamas. Cornet, Bahamas. Dream, design, deliver. Hey, Bahamas. Ready to turn your event into a party? Royal Inflatables has you covered. From brand new bouncers to water slides and combo castles, fun is guaranteed for all ages. Their equipment is clean and inspected daily, safe, spotless, and ready to go. Enjoy free setup and takedown, on-time delivery, and 100% hassle-free service. Perfect for birthdays, school events, or any celebration. Call or WhatsApp now at 242-468-7268 to book. Let the bounce party begin. And, well, there it is. So, welcome back to Freedom March. Bradley Rowell, the spiritual advisor, is with me. I don't know where he is. He's going to be here shortly. And so we was talking to Toby Smith because, you know, I like to make sure that I hear people. I like to make sure that I understand why people are having the fights that they're having. You know, sometimes when you fight, people think that you just like to fight. And sometimes that might be true. But sometimes if you understand why people are fighting, you may very well find a reason to agree with them or show up your reasons to disagree with them. And so when they told me that Toby had taken exception with the fact that Bahama had actually repainted the flamingo, I couldn't understand what exactly was happening or why exactly would it be a problem for the person that commissioned the artwork to do whatever they want to do with their artwork. And do I believe Toby has a point? He might. He probably has a point, and it is probably something that we have to look at, and it is probably a problem that we've never had before, and that is why we need to figure out the mechanism to address the problem in the future. But like I say, when I had my chameleon painted Nissan Sentra that I loved so much, the fella was riding it on a dummy tire. There was nothing I could do. I had already given the fella my car. It was his car.
Yep.
And there was really nothing I could do.
But I agree with Toby, the argument may not be the same. Because I'm thinking, if you decide you're going to adopt a park or a roundabout for beautification, I'm thinking you would have to go through the Ministry of Works. And so it becomes almost like a contractual agreement. I don't know if they're leasing it to you, but it's a contract. And I think you might be right. If it's a contract, I don't know if you could actually get in there. You could do things if you want to.
What I would say is the artistic space is an interesting space. I will admit my ignorance now that because I see somebody telling me, oh, I'm not understanding the principles of art. You are right. I don't know nothing but no art. Only thing I know about art is it have an A in it. That's the only thing I know.
Okay.
The point is, though, I mean, when you talk about, okay, so I did a bit of digging about how these things got started. Do you remember at one point they had the whole chicken paint brown on Blue Hill Road?
Yeah, by
right.
The old garbage site?
No, the chicken on the roundabout, the big chicken, the 13, 15
Oh, by
chicken.
Fadley?
Yes.
And the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. The whole thing was brown?
At one point,
or just the tail?
At one point, they had that whole chicken paint brown.
The legs too?
The whole chicken was brown.
Wow.
And so I joked for many years that the chicken was a good indication of how the Bahamian economy was doing. And if you see the chicken looking shabby, that means the Bahamian economy doing shabby. Because there was also a time where the grass around the chicken had grown up so high, the chicken looked like he was trying to peep over the grass in order to see. You remember that?
I don't remember
but
that.
whenever
the
we
grass
doing
will have to
well,
be extremely high for that.
yeah, but when we doing well, it looks like the chicken has good. He has good manicuring. He has good lighting. He has wonderful painting. I think they got Monroe to redo the painting on the chicken a couple of years back. And all I'm saying is, as an artist, you create a thing, and sometimes the thing you create, you just have to sign over all the rights once you've handed it over. But I don't know if you get the case of the people that commission you. You see my point?
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and so I because I didn't want anybody to tell me what his point was, I thought we'd talk about why he felt the way that he felt. I don't disagree with him. The difficulty, Bradley, I will tell you about being a creative mind is you have to watch people destroy your creation, and that's all you can do. Watch them destroy it.
I guess so.
So I don't know. But I think we should open. You want to do birthdays and then open?
Because
I want to know how people feel about this. I want to know if Bahamians even recognize the flamingo was painted. What I also know is that the flamingo was in horrible condition for about a year, and in need of painting. I was just so happy to see that they had actually painted it. I don't know if I thought about what color it should have been and if it was painted the right. I don't know if I thought about it that much. It looks to me as if they had a couple shades of paint, and they just gone out there and they just painted. I didn't know that there were this many rules. Here is what I'm trying to get you to understand, Bradley. Chairman of the Beaches and Parks Authority has to consider, do we have a national color for these things? Mm-hmm. Or do we just let the artist go there and do whatever the artist thinks is right? Is there a schedule of when these things should be done? Or do we just do them whenever we feel like they're in a state of disrepair? Mm-hmm. What is the exact size for these inanimate objects? Some of them are. Or are we doing something that ties directly to Bahamian culture? For instance, there's a King Kong shell at the end of Christie Hill. Mm-hmm. I can't see how that ties into Bahamian culture any at all. And I've actually even made protest videos about it. But the truth of the matter is, some artist somewhere believes that this rendition is of some importance to Bahamian culture. All I'm saying is, as the artist, you pour yourself out. That's one thing. But after you've poured yourself out and you've signed the handover certificate, do you now, as the artist, have to back away from the issue? And my argument is, yes. It's kind of like if you give your daughter's hand in marriage, you don't get to tell her husband what he could do to her.
No. You definitely can't.
This is my point. You just have to let some things go.
Yeah, but you could also tell him what you don't want him to do to her.
You could say,
if you lay your hands on my daughter.
And chances are, Bradley, he will rip the two of your hand right out the socket. You wouldn't have a hand no more.
He won't get a chance to do that.
Oh, allegedly?
Well, you don't have to allege that.
Let's go to birthdays. Yeah, you tell the man, boy, if you put your hand on my daughter, I'll have to put my hand on you. And he say, okay, Bradley, you ain't got no more hand. Now what you can put on me?
I put more on him. All right, so here we go. Sarah Miller, happy 14th birthday. Producer, how do you pronounce this? Saria? S-A-R-I-A? Is it Saria? Sarai? I'm so sorry, pretty young lady. Happy birthday to Sarai Miller. Happy 14th birthday to you. Coming from your mom, your father, your brother, Khalil, your grandmother, aunts and uncles, family and friends. We love you. Enjoy your day. Carlton Grant, I would like to wish my lovely son, Carlton Grant in Berlin, happy birthday. Coming from your wife. Hold on. Okay, I would like to wish Carlton Grant and Berlin a happy birthday from your wife, children, mother, Shami, your grandmother, Sue Culmer, and Topham Bay, your aunts, uncles, and the rest of the family in Berlin and Topham Bay. They want you to enjoy your birthday, okay? James Francis, happy James Francis, happy birthday to my loving brother, James Francis, coming in from your sister. So we want to send a shout out to some very good friends of ours who listen to us there down there at Slate Tech Nails, Cowpen Road, especially Angel. So special shout out to all the nail techs there at Slate Tech on Cowpen Road. We hear you listen to us every day, and we're gracious to you. We also want to send a special shout out to Mr. Vasco Bastian, the owner of the On the Run, the East Street and Soul Road location. Special shout out to you, Mr. Bastian, coming from us here at Freedom March. All right.
Is everybody?
That seems like it.
Who's Vasco Bastian? I ain't seen none of these people is Vasco.
You don't? No, yeah, he's not there. But we have in here.
Okay.
Also, yesterday we saw posted. There was a notice coming from the Bahamas. You have it, producer, the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beach Authority. It was an advisory that all persons holding contracts with the Bahamas Public Park and Beach Authority that payments would have been made to the bank's account as of yesterday. So you may expect posting to your account by your bank by the end of September the 9th, which is today, or up to 2 working days after. So thank you for your cooperation, the Bahamas Public Parks and Beach Authority. So what's happening here? The money reach?
If you work for the Bahamas Publics and Beaches and Parks Authority as a contractor, I want to say that you are kind, that you are smart, and that you are important. And I want to also say that you could wire transfer money to me at...
Don't do that. They'll rip your account off.
Who?
They have fellows
if they try to rip off my account, the only thing they would be doing is practicing their hacking. That'll be there. The only numbers on my account is the account number.
Oh.
Yeah, so that ain't gonna help them. Anyway, but if you are a contractor of the Bahamas Public Beaches and Parks, I hear you all have money. You know how you all like to always call me? Today is a good day to also call me. You know what I mean? What else you got, Bradley? That's it?
Yeah, it is alleged that the people who paint the graveyard white... Oh, no, that's a joke. Sorry. Forgive me. That was a joke.
Let's take some phone calls. 323-7775, 698-0775, I don't know. Maybe there are people out there that disagree with me. Let me say it again, emphatically and for the record. I hear Toby. I can hear Toby. I understand that Ringo has a sentimental value to him as the creator of the flamingo. I understand that the artistic expression is something that the artist holds close to them. I understand that he thinks that he and Bahama has a good enough working relationship that they could have had better communication. I also understand that he is so committed to this task that he would do it for free.
Okay.
I hear that. I want Toby to know that I hear him. I want him to know that I understand him. But I also feel that if you hand over whatever document that states that the commissioned piece of art has been completed satisfactorily and is now the property of whichever group of company it is my view that you have to divorce yourself from the feelings you may have about that piece of art.
Right, so could he advance an argument that he don't think the folks who actually have the roundabout or park is not doing a good job, and he feels the future...
He could advance that argument, but I mean, are we going to operate in a hyperbolic space? I like when we go into hyperbolic spaces. I just tell so fans, if we go in the hyperbolic space, that's exactly where I like to live, because we could suppose anything. We supposing now, because I'll tell you what I would do if I was supposing.
Yeah, and he could just tell him, listen, let me show you all what I can do versus what is being...
Are we going to exist in a hyperbolic space? Well. So for the purpose of this exercise, I want to exist in a hyperbolic space, right? The what if space.
2 callers?
What if he just go there one evening and paint it whatever color he like?
I like that sign, producer.
Right?
Yeah. Huh?
Oh boy, take me. I don't want to talk to this FM anymore. Let me talk to the people on the phone. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
We got 2 callers on the line.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, I don't know how spiritual advisor could sit close to you and listen to your foolishness.
What's this? What's this? Boom! May rainwater fall in your phone line. And one day, when you are home with no one to talk to, may every time you pick up the phone, the only person you could reach is on the next side of the phone. Powerful! Now.
Isn't she something else?
Yeah. See that?
Oh, boy, I tell you.
See that? It's wonder-waking power. You see that?
She's good.
You see, I feel it. I feel it coming already. You want to call back?
Yeah, we whistle now.
You want to call back?
You ain't got your whistle. Let's take this next call. Welcome to Freedom March call. You're live. Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Hey.
Spiritual advisor.
Yes, sir.
Listen, first thing first. I'm calling you to remind you about tonight.
He come in the Bible study. I did send him with a notepad. I don't want him to
the
forget
second
nothing.
thing, Levan. There are 2 ladies that calls this show. One has a fetish for spiritual advisor. I noticing that now. And one has a fetish for you.
Really?
I don't know if you could. You should use that word.
A feeling then.
Okay.
A feeling.
But listen,
guess
sometimes
what I
do that
called
to people,
for?
you know.
I was in a discussion this morning over a breakfast table over this thing with Mr. Miller. I told him Mr. Miller don't need nobody to apologize for him. Mr. Miller could fight his own battle.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. Miller is that type of person. But my thing is, do you remember in the 1997 election? Spiritual advisors be underground sometimes. You don't know things sometimes. But you play the game, you know. But in the 1997 election, when they brought in Chicago Line. You remember that?
Go on, I listening.
You remember when they said Chicago alleged that Chicago Line was Mr. Ingram's son? You remember that was a campaign talk?
Yeah, I remember.
But Chicago Line never followed up, and it died off just like that.
Yeah.
You remember the Honorable Patricia, the vote Speaker of the House Assembly, when they said she was a hot dog girl and she used to sell hot dog and all of that. I know Patricia, the vote for me was about 17. Yeah. I even never know to own a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
I advised, I said, don't follow that up. 2 weeks later, that was dead.
Yeah.
Now, this lady, a lady with this thing with Mr. Miller, she is new into this politics game. She's a senator, but she's a little new.
Yeah.
She should have never followed that up.
Yeah. Plus,
you want me to give you a way to make some quick money, Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Get a picture of her. I make sure I ask for her permission. Get a picture of her and put 2 ponytails on the side with a blue up in her hand and some tails dropping down her eye. He calling me a girl. And I guarantee them t-shirts.
All right. Let's take that one. I know this fascination is these ponytails, but he seems to like ponytails. But again, the only senator that I think anybody remember in the last 20 years is Rodney Munka. I don't think nobody else. If you ask someone to give you a list of 10 senators, or you will splash them with hot water, boy, listen to me. You could turn them into sauce shortly after that because they can't tell you. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
So the lady with Mr. Miller calling is good. I feel that if she going to run for a public office, she's supposed to be able to take chafing. So even if I had a mind to vote for her, I cannot really vote for her because she cannot really take chafing. One thing she will get upset about.
Cole, I want to tell you something, right? Like, so I consume news as a hobby. I don't know if you could tell that about me, right? And they say that, or I saw somewhere in a documentary that world leaders have different quirks about them, right? And it is alleged that many world leaders do not like to meet with Vladimir Putin because Vladimir actually learns weaknesses about world leaders and he uses it against them whenever he has meetings with them, right? So if you ever notice, Vladimir stares at a lot of people and doesn't blink. And then there was one time he met with the German Chancellor who has a fear of dogs, and I understand that he has some Great Danes, and he allowed the Great Danes to sit in the presidential office with him during the whole meeting, right? And my whole deal is, if you can't take Leslie, who almost 1,000, calling you a little girl, right? In a society where it is not uncommon for old fellas to call everybody a little boy or a little girl, then what you could do if we miss and send you to see Vladimir Yugoslavia? You still there? All right. Let's take another call.
I get you 100%.
Yeah. And this is exactly why you can't put them in public office, because you don't get to control the space all the time in public office. Public office is hot and heavy and fast. And you gotta practice. You gotta practice being able. You know, Dynamite Fritz said to me about 20 years ago when I was trying to be a young boxer, right? He said, every day you come in this ring and all you do is you punch the bag, punch the bag, punch the bag. He said, the next time you come for training, I want you to come in this ring, put your headgear on, and practice having someone throw some punches at your head. Because sometimes the difference between a win and a loss is the fella that took a punch and he ain't fall down. I learned that from Dynamite Fritz 20 years ago. All right, caller, let's take another phone call. 323-777-569-80775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hi, Mr. Miller.
Hi.
Hi, Spiritual Advisor. How are you guys?
Good afternoon. Okay.
Okay, so two things. The first thing is regarding Toby and the sculpture. I think the issue with that is that he offered to repair it, I guess, for free.
Sure.
So to him, it seems like a slap in the face.
Sure.
Which I'm sure we could understand.
Sure.
The second thing that I wanted to speak about was the comments that Mr. Miller made towards Mrs. Michael
Barnett.
Yeah.
Barnett Ellis, yeah.
So I understand that there is a level of deference that we should give to our elders. But I think as we become adults, those same elders should extend some sort of respect to us.
We agree.
So, yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
Now, can I ask you something, caller? Because I like to engage you. Your voice sounds familiar, so I feel like I know who I'm talking to, right?
Okay.
Now, let me see if I can engage you. If you throw lowness at me, and that give me every right to throw lowness at you?
Yes.
So when Leslie called me a little girl, you know what I can tell him? Boy, I ain't listening to you. You look like you got hell to keep seat. Every chance they get to vote you out, you just get voted out. They vote you out in 97.
Yes, but you don't have to attend every fight that you're invited to.
No, but I'm saying you also don't. You ever play pork? You don't sound like you grew up in no neighborhood where porking was even allowed. They could have played pork.
I played porking before.
They could have played porking through your corner?
Not through my corner,
you used to
but
play
I played it
when
before.
you go by your cousin?
Yes.
And when you play porking, caller, you can't cry when you get pork.
Yes, because I willingly engaged in playing the game. But I think she should be judged on her merits and her platform, not to be ridiculed or talked down to.
But politics...
Because if it was a man...
Yeah.
If it was a man doing the same thing that she was doing, I'm sure those comments wouldn't have been made.
No, I don't know if that's true, because we call Travis a little boy all the time. They call Lincoln Deal a little boy. It's just not uncommon. So here's the thing I'm saying. You say that she ain't volunteer, but she's volunteered for the game of politics. And you know what has happened to the children who's cry when they get pork? Your granddaddy just come outside and say, you, on this porch. And you get to stay on the porch for the rest of the day, caller.
Yes, but my point is, I think that there should still be a level of respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or she should just learn how to curse Leslie back out. Just curse him back. If you curse him back, this will be over. Anyway, don't move. That's the jingle. We go on to the break. The woman say she can understand Toby hate. I say if the people own the flamingo, let them paint their flamingo whatever color they want. We can be back after this break.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, at Shop Smart, at Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Welcome back to Freedom March. I'm Levin Miller. Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, is with me. And what are we doing? Going to the phone lines? I actually have a birthday shout out. This is a birthday shout out to little Ozzie Smith, who is celebrating his birthday. Where's his graphic? There he is. And that is coming in from his dad and his mom and his sister and the rest of his family. So happy birthday to Lil O from Big O and them. All right?
Indeed.
You want to go back to the phone line?
Yeah, 323-7775, 698-0775, and 698-0776. Anybody in the line? Welcome to Freedom March, caller. Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First time caller.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The former Prime Minister at one point called the present Prime Minister Little Brave.
Mr. Ingram still is calling him Lil Brave.
Okay, that wasn't a big argument.
Yeah.
So
That's
what was Leslie Miller's reason for apologizing?
I know. I tell him Leslie Miller must he got too much of breath left in his body and he trying to use all before God call him home, because I wouldn't waste my breath apologizing about this.
You know, really apologize.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Apology. Well, if Christ be not risen. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Let's take another one. 323-7775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, Levan.
Hey.
How are you and spiritual advisor?
Oh, no. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
Grammy boy. It has really baffled me about vehemence, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, I don't ever know Leslie Miller to speak with no level of decorum, you know. He's a vehement.
But don't make it right, though.
He speaks vehement.
But it don't make it right.
You don't make what right? He ain't saying nothing out of the
But they're going to say he ain't saying nothing wrong.
We're not called to be rude as people.
Yeah, but his
in the public
comments
space.
wasn't directed to her. He was talking somewhere else. She didn't have to follow that up.
Yeah.
I was like, someone come to you with hearsay news. I say, spiritual advisor, I hear GNN say this about you. Come on, man.
GNN. When I in another incarnation of my life, right? When I was over there doing some other things on behalf of the people of the Bahamas, one fella called, say Brave is he cousin, and he can tell he cousin Brave, he must fire me, right? So the people from the news call me and say, hello, Mr. Miller, we want to ask you something that was said by, and they gave me the guy's name. So when they gave me his name, I said, that's not a name. They said, oh, well, that's the name we have for him. And you know what I said to them? Well, if I answer this person with the no real name, then next week I'll be answering the Tooth Fairy, because that ain't a real name. When someone with a real name say something about me, you call me back and I'll give you an interview. You follow my point? Because in public life, you gotta be able to punch in your weight class.
I like that. I like the analogy you give. How you could tell yourself you was a boxer, you are going in the ring, but you ain't expecting to get hit.
Yeah, and Dynamite Fritz tell me, don't only come in this gym every day and punch the spy. Go in that ring, and let someone throw some punch at your head.
Prepare to get hit.
That's the point.
And you know, before election, like Julian said earlier on another show, by the time the election come around, take up something else on her.
Yeah.
And now she can properly represent her constituents if she can't take what Lynn knocks out her head.
Yeah. I mean, Leslie even ain't do nothing to her yet. She hollering.
Let me tell you what I think happened. She's a novice. She ain't know nothing but them sideways punch with his come. And she tried to make political mileage out of what Leslie Miller say. And it's almost just tantamount to amount to throw in the mix of the winner the other day.
Well,
it make no sense.
I'll tell you how I feel about it, right? On the news making monitor, they just don't raise the needle over there. So what you have to do is when you find something that raises the needle, you got to ride that. You follow me?
But listen, Levi, and us blackmail all us, we is called Brave Davis, Haitian Brave Davis, Fred Mitchell is called us idiots, all kind of things.
That don't make it right, though.
No. See, listen to what I'm saying to you, GNN. Right now, I'm 40. Right now, if I go Minnie Street and Cordell Avenue right now, and I sit there right now with my uncles who 55 and 56, and there's a boat, and a shop run have to get make. Let me tell you how we decide who going to the shop.
The little boy.
Boy, when you born, 1990 what? Boy, shop.
The little boy.
And mind you, I stand fully prepared to go to the shop if I look around and the only fellas who here is seeing you post them.
So when we call the Americans, hey man, they supposed to get mad doing.
I know.
But anyway, let me say hi to three young ladies. Yvonne Ambrista Albury, most beautiful police lady on the force ever. AJ, little drummer girl, Anya, Valley Boys, and Hestain Roberts up there in Canada. I hope all of you all are doing well. Thanks for taking Nana
Boy. All right,
Boy.
GNN. 323-777-5698077. That ain't how it is through the corner you live at. When you go to your corner and you sit down with your uncle them, you got any uncle them still living?
All night.
If a shop run have to get make,
all day.
It ain't no guessing. Boy, we need to go get something from the shop, go get that. You know what, I can't wait every time.
We understand, Senior.
Matter of fact, I never tell my uncle them this. I even just don't want to hang out till I see my younger cousins them. That's the only time I even want to hang out. Because I understand that I seen your man, I seen your post when that happened. And he ain't going to the shop because he feel like, you know what he going? He going because he born last. It's simple as that. Ah, boy. Man, let's don't talk about this for another day. This will give me the weakness.
Yeah, let's leave that.
I don't call it welcome to Freedom March. I think Toby should just take 10 gallons of paint and go paint the flamingo, whatever color he wore, and then let them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Hey, caller, this is like Antoine. Hey, Antoine.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. Good afternoon, Spiritual Advisor.
Good afternoon.
I'm a first-time caller.
Okay.
Welcome.
I'd just like to chime in on your show today, please.
Sure.
Just two quick points. One, with the senator.
Mm-hmm.
This incident would have been a good time for her to show what she is actually made of.
Yeah.
Instead, she tried to get political points and it backfired on her.
Yeah.
Here's my point. She could have said, in regards to the comments from Mr. Miller, she could have said, well, this little girl is prepared to do X, Y, Z for the constituency of Kalani by doing ABC.
Yeah.
Instead, she turned around and said, look at what he said. He called me a little girl. I don't need to cape for Leslie Miller, but I don't believe he meant it in a derogatory manner.
Right.
He simply meant it that her being a novice to politics, going up against a seasoned veteran like Dr. Hubert Minnis, he was small in that regard.
Yeah.
Not being disrespectful. That's how I saw it.
And Minnis then win 4 consecutive. Leslie even he never do that.
Exactly. So
you know
he is
how hard
a
that is to
giant
do?
and a senior man in the political arena.
Yes.
So in comparison, she would be younger to him. And I think that is the point he was making, not trying to be disrespectful.
Notwithstanding that, caller, he is also almost 35 years older than her.
Exactly. Now, I'd also like to make this point. I remember initially when Adrian Gibson first ended frontline politics, he was made chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation. The now Prime Minister was a former cabinet minister with responsibility for water and sewage, and he was in opposition at the time.
Right.
He made a comment in Parliament to say this little boy comes and talk about what I did or didn't do in my constituency of Cat Island.
Right.
Referring to Adrian Gibson.
I remember that, yes.
Adrian Gibson went to lunch, came back after lunch with a tricycle.
Yeah.
And said, Madam, Mr. Speaker, this is what this little boy is doing for Cat Island.
Yeah.
We're laying X amount of pipes. We're paving
the little
this,
boy
doing
laying
this.
low on pipe. I remember that.
So he made the inference that this is what this little boy is going to do, which is what she could have done. She could have said, this is what this little girl is prepared to do for the constituency of Kalani.
Yeah, the problem I have with women in public life is they always want us to flex the rules. If you come to play the game, you play the game by the rules we playing with. You know that's why I don't play domino in certain neighborhoods. I remember one time I jumped out of my car in amazement. I saw two little boys shooting marbles, right? And they were shooting marbles, and one of these little boys, he could shoot marbles like Saeed. I used to shoot marbles with two little boys named Kazanu and Saeed when I was a young boy, right? Them two fellas could shoot marbles so good they could shoot marbles in the Olympics. And I watched this little fella, must he take about 20 marble out of the ring. This is how you know it's big marble game, because they cutting 20 marbles, right? Now that he didn't shoot almost 20 marble out the ring, he gets cocky and he shoots and he misses. And his marble, if you know anything but marble rule, if you shoot the person marble, they shooting with all the marble in the ring is yours. That's how you always shoot marble around by your corner?
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes to go shoot the next fella marble. Guess what the fella gets shout out? No follows. No follows ain't no marble rule, my brother. No follows, and you got 20 of my marble in your pocket? You better have more brothers than mine. And I got 14 uncle and 54 male cousin. No follow my foot. When I take up my marble out this ring, you better go call your brothers them to come fight us, because I carry these marble with me when I... No follow what? That ain't no rule. What's the point? The point is, learn where you're playing the game, learn who you're playing with, and then come play the game by the rules that are set. You want us to just switch all the rules for you? You know what? How about we just break down the parliament and we don't even have no parliament no more? How about we just shake a brown paper bag to decide who should be in the parliament? Let's change all the rules. Let's turn it into a tuck shop. That is my difficulty with women that claim they have what it takes to be in public life. Then all of a sudden, they start playing the game and it's they killing me. 323-777.
We got any calls, producer? Welcome, Freedom March, call you live.
Hey, good afternoon, Spiritual and Mr. Miller. How y'all doing?
Hey, and the fellow who called just now is your doppelganger.
I listen intently.
Yeah, you sound like you're on, Don.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Miller.
Hey, buddy.
You remind me, listening to you talk about marbles, you remind me of my days when I used to shoot marbles.
You could shoot marble, Antoine?
Listen, I was one of the best in being down.
That's a big claim. Now, that's a big claim you're making there, Antoine.
One of the best.
Antoine, I grew up in Baintown. I ain't never hear nobody call Antoine name once.
Listen, yeah. It was only one fellow in Baintown who could have shoot marble better than me.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like a big brother to me at the time and tell me more about the community.
Yeah.
And his name is Jackson, now deceased.
Yeah.
Right? Former gangster in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Et cetera. But he had many regrets before he passed away.
I was from Mini Street. I was from Mini Street, right, Antoine?
Mini Street.
I was from Mini Street, right?
And
Kazino and Saeed was from Montel Heights.
Mini Street ain't no Baintown.
No, but my mommy grew up in Ruperdale Lane, so I used to go Ruperdale Lane as well. Right?
All right.
And so when we walked from, my granddaddy had the church in Montel Heights, which is my association to Montel Heights. And when
you know Benji then, if you were in Ruperdale Lane.
If I know who?
Benji.
Yeah. So when Kazi and Saeed would get let outside, their mom used to let them outside on Saturday. We used to walk in Ridgeland Park to go beat the Ridgeland Park. They can't be there shooting no marble.
Listen. We used to move all over Baintown.
Yeah, but
East Street, Hay Street area, up Baintown where the Syndicate Posse used to be.
Yeah.
Down where the Rebellions used to be. Over where the Gunhawks used to be. over where the gun
Antoine,
dogs used to be.
the point I'm making to you,
beat them all.
Antoine, the point I'm making to you is, when you go to Satan Hoods and you can't cut less than 10 marble.
Right away.
You go to Satan Hood.
Listen. You go to Satan Hoods and the fellas want to shoot for all the marbles you bring.
That's my point. And then you go on Satan Hoods where you had to throw the quarter. You had to throw the quarter first to see what order you're coming down with the marble.
Yes.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is, when you go in different hood, you gotta learn the rules we playing by.
You gotta know the rules of engagement and how to conduct yourself.
Because we don't change the rules for you, my brother.
No.
That's my only point.
See Miller. Listen, man. If that was a warrior, and I can call the bravest of them all, right? And that's the female warriors in Parliament. If that was Glenatana Martin, Miller would have get massive.
Yeah.
If he was on the opposite side, and he made such a statement. You can't come in no warrior scheme with wussy statements until you go walk on the line. You can get slaughtered.
I agree.
That's how it didn't go. Now, watch this. There's a place for intelligentsia. There's a place for academia, right? But when you step in the ring of politics on the campaign,
it's a gladiator sport. It's a gladiator sport.
Listen. The opposition leader called my leader, Lynn Brave.
Yeah.
Lynn Brave. And the Prime Minister could be his daddy.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister has slaughtered him multiple times and will slaughter him once more before he set the stage.
Yeah.
In my view, for the first female Prime Minister of this country. Miller, I want more about that topic, man. I want to say something happening in the country.
Sure.
Right? But let me say Miller and spiritual. Did you have the announcement from Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis,
that the VAT is going down to 5%? Yeah.
That's massive in the country.
Yeah, but
Mr. Davis is doing what is necessary. Pardon me?
The PLP reminded me of Kobe Bryant now, because they announced that in March, right? That it was coming in September. Yeah, like how long you all know y'all didn't tell us this before, right?
You said the daddy.
Yeah, we know it was coming. Yeah, I like the way y'all is doing though. September, we get a new spot. And then when September come, they say, don't forget, we didn't say September. Yeah, the VAT is going down, Antoine. We appreciate it.
Listen, we are doing wonderful things throughout the entire government service in this country.
Yeah.
We are beginning to get the wheels spinning in all the right directions. I can say this and then I can run. Bahamian people, y'all made a mistake. 2017, y'all paid the price for it. And if y'all had continued to make that mistake again, Minister plan was to fire plenty of y'all.
Wow.
And to increase VAT on the backs of the Bahamian people.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, former Prime Minister still to this day professes to be FNM.
Yeah.
And so this rag and cut and run right here, Miller.
Yeah.
So I say to Senior Miller, Mr. Leslie Miller, we can't play no games with him. We on the battlefield. We're gonna politically slaughter him.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Antoine. And if he can't be a FNM, he could always be a FNA. That's where he is. 323-777. You ready to be a FNA yet?
No, sir.
Oh boy. 698-0775. Hello, caller. Listen, if you cannot be an FNM.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
Hello, Mom.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, I couldn't get in yesterday.
Okay.
But I want to comment on this issue with Senator Ellis. Okay, she has a right to respond because it's how she feels.
Sure.
In reference to the little girl remark, right?
Sure.
That's how she felt. She chose to list out her resume for a lot of Bahamians who don't know her. Oh, she listed it out. That's fine. Mr. Miller apologized. Fine. That's that. What I took issue with, what I think she went off course with, was her second response, where she used that word, just what you said yesterday, in reference to the misogyny.
Right.
And then she expanded, giving the impression that this is why one of the reasons or why we have this issue in this country.
Yeah.
What you're doing, you're drawing a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And we must be careful how we try to pit our women against our men.
You sound like a saved woman.
Trying to get there.
Oh, praise the Lord.
But not to the point where we ignore when they're wrong or certain things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot, and I don't know who the advisors are, and this just little old me in the corner. Be careful how you respond and how you try to get a political mileage or browning point with certain issues.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a lot of men that are listening, that are watching. You don't put them on the defensive. You don't put out past a whole net. You understand what I'm saying? Don't make this an issue where the women against the men.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So
I
think that's where she went off.
And can I say something to you, caller, before you go?
Sure.
That is what happens when, as a woman, you take advice from one punch a womanish man.
I don't think it's nothing to do with women.
I can tell you. See, you talked about the people that advise them, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times what you find, if you look at the campaign now, some of this stuff is so catty. This don't have man right nowhere on it. But if your advisors are a bunch of men, see, I always tell my friends, right, that men have logic, and that's what makes them sometimes kind of come off so abrasive to women, because women want them to include their emotion. But when you got one bunch of emotional man who advising you and driving your campaign, you have to be extra careful about that.
And your leader came and backhanded that yesterday by going after Mr. Miller, who was not a sitting member of Parliament for any party.
Who really is irrelevant.
Minister. And he more or less rubber stamped what she said.
Yes.
Right? Him, who threw the biggest boulders across on the opposite side at a lot of different women. All those women do, like Miss Glennis Hannah Martin, they get rolled out, they stand up, they brush their dress off or they gown off, and they hold their hair tight, and they walk out, they do what they have to do, and they leave. And you come back and you live to fight verbally another day. But don't take everything and try and make this thing. My message is, let's not go gender war. Let's not have a gender war in this country. Let's uplift our men, and men, continue to uplift our women.
This is safe.
You all have a good day, okay?
Did you ever attend the Church of God? You sound so sad.
I need to go.
Wow. But Cole, I also want to say this to you as you leave, right? Think about this. Leslie Miller is a man that is about 80 years old, 75 or 4, somewhere around there. He almost 100. The average person his age, no one has asked them no question. No one has interviewed him about nothing. So, but for the fact that he's Leslie Miller, he would be irrelevant. Nobody takes on, you know what I mean? Like old people home every day with nothing to do and no one to talk to.
And his daughter
how you all letting this senior citizen?
She carries herself well. So all I'm saying, like I said, that's between her and Mr. Miller.
No, I got that. But the point I'm making is he ain't worth the collateral.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a war. It's a war going on. Let's not pick these silly instances to build off.
I agree. Thank you, caller. 32377. I wouldn't pick a fight with an old man. What I tell you on this show before, I just let old people say whatever they want. From I look at you, I say, you know what, he old. He just happy someone interviewing him. Man, I'm so thankful that we still can find a space for him in society, because many old people don't have no one to talk to. And the news still want to talk to Leslie. Well, bless the Lord, because,
Well, he has a lot of political experience. This is one of the reasons why I
don't change the fact that he almost 100. How much 75-year-olds anyone talking to? Nobody just asks them.
They have children, they have grandchildren, they have great-grandchildren.
People grapple every day with trying to stay on their jobs so that they can stay relevant. Most people, once they get over 65, they are no longer relevant.
Wow.
And you walk them off into the pasture, and you look for new talent and new blood, and the new kid on the block will come up. Ain't nobody going around volunteering to interview no 75-year-old. Luckily, though, he's Leslie Miller, and the news still wants to talk to him. You think I can let him ruffle me up? Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. 323-7775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. You there?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hi, spiritual advisor.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Junior. Can I call you that?
Sorry?
Hi.
I can call you that.
Sure.
Levan Jr.?
He knows. This is Johnny, by the way.
Hey, Spence.
All is well.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to be very quick.
You got to be quick.
I don't know if anyone responded. Well, I've mentioned it before, but you remember? And you were from, they had an election going on, and he called, he turned quest and said, come here, boy. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is basically the same situation.
Yeah, I agree. We got to go to the jingle on, we owe the time. Anyway, that's the jingle. We owe the time. We'll see you again tomorrow on Freedom March.
If it's the Lord's will, we'll be back.